Okay, so we spent the last 2 days doing slope formula, and it's going to be on the test, whether you like it or not. You have to know how to use it. You have to know how to set it up, even from a graph. But there are going to be times where they don't just want the slope, they want the slope and the y-intercept that we talked about in part 1 of chapter 4. Well, what if they give me a table? So with this, we're going to go back to something that we used in chapter 1. And if y'all remember this, it's the stat button. So what you do is you're going to go to stat. Remember, it's right here next to the arrows underneath delete. And we're going to hit edit. Okay. Now let me reset my calculator. You're going to have to reset your calculator after every question like we did in chapter 1. Now here's what we do. I'm going to type my table into my calculator. So all of the numbers on the left go on the left. So notice I'm hitting each number and hitting enter. And then I go to the right and I'm going to type all of my numbers on the right. So when we learned this in chapter 1, we just used the left side. Well, now we're going to use both. So my x's go on the left, my y's go on the right. And here's something new. We're still going to do stat calc, but it's not number 1, it's number 4, called linear regression. So what we're asking the calculator to do is take these points and make an equation. So here comes some vocabulary for you. A is referred to as the slope. So the slope my calculator gives me is 3. B is the y-intercept. So but the proper way to write it is 0, 2 when it's positive 2. Remember that from chapter 4, part 1? But now we're going to write it as an equation. Remember, it's y equals the slope, so 3. X always goes next to slope, and since it's positive 2, we put plus 2. Not too bad? If I lost you, let's try that again. So reset your calculator. We're going to go to stat, edit, and I'm going to type my x's on the left, so -4, -3, -2, -1, and 0. And I'm going to type 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14 on the right. Stat calc 4, again, that's the new part, stat calc 4 instead of 1. And you hit enter about 5 times. This time, my calculator says the slope is 2 and the y-intercept is positive 14, so we write it as 0, 14. But then I write it as an equation. Y equals the slope, which is 2x, and since it's positive 14, we put plus 14. Not too bad. Do it again. 2 plus 7, 1, 2. Stat edit, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1. On the right, -7, -6, -5, -4, -3. Stat calc 4. Okay, and so I get a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of -4, so 0, -4. So my equation is y equals 1x minus 4 since it's -4. Now, does it throw you off if I turn my table sideways? Let's try it. The difference is if my table is sideways, the x's are the top numbers. Those are the ones that go on the left. So I just type them in first. And then the y's are the bottom numbers, and that's what goes on the right side. And then I do stat calc 4, enter, enter, enter. Now, this is where we start to see decimals. So the slope they gave me is 1.6. The y-intercept is just 0, 0. But I can't leave my slope as a decimal, so we need to convert it to a fraction. If you remember from way back when we did this at the beginning of the school year, to change a decimal to a fraction, you do 1.6 alpha y 4. And that changes any decimal to a fraction. And yes, we're going to leave it in proper. So it's 8 over 5. Now we write it as an equation. Y equals 8 over 5. X goes next. But then 0, I don't write anything for the y-intercept. You remember, you leave it blank. Let's do that again. 2 plus 7, 1, 2. So I got -13, -10, -7, -4, -1. -4, -8, -12, -16, -20. And I do stat calc 4. Okay. And this one's crazy looking, but let's write it. My slope is -1.3 repeating. My y-intercept is -21.3 repeating. And if you remember how we change a repeating decimal to a fraction, we do -1.3333333 all the way across the screen, and then alpha y 4. So we're going to use -4 over 3. And then we're going to do -21.3333333 alpha y 4 and put that point. So it's going to be -64 over 3. So we rarely see it where the y-intercept is a fraction, but we're going to practice it for today. So my equation is y equals -4 over 3x. And since it's -64 over 3, it's -64 over 3. Not too bad. Let's do it again. So 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. Stat Calc 4. Okay, this one's prettier. So the slope is 0.75. Oop, put a 1 for some reason. 0.75. The y-intercept is 0, 3. And then I got to change that 0.75 to a fraction. So you do 0.75 alpha y4. Hit enter. So we're going to use 3/4 instead. So y equals 3 over 4x. And since it's positive 3, we put plus 3. Gets pretty repetitive, so once you get the hang of it, you just keep on trucking. 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Here I get 1.5 and negative 4.5. Both are decimals that we have to convert. So 1.5 alpha y4 is going to be 3 over 2. Negative 4.5 alpha y4 is negative 9 over 2. And then I write the equation. Y equals 3 over 2x. And since it's negative 9 over 2, minus 9 over 2. Those are the hardest ones, is when they're both fractions. Last two. Stat, edit. We got 3, 7, 11, 15, 19. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's 0.25 and 1.25. The 0.25 is alpha y4 is equal to 1/4. 1.25 alpha y4 is equal to 5/4. So my equation would be y equals 1 over 4x. Since it's positive, 5 over 4 plus 5 over 4. Then we do one last one. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oops, not 43. And then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And we get negative, oh, that's prettier, negative 2 and 18, 0, 18, keep forgetting the 0. And so it's y equals negative 2x. And since it's positive 18, we put plus 18. Not too bad.